So hi and welcome to another new episode of Resilient Voices. Thank you for joining us here. Today I have yet another inspiring woman just by my side. Her name is Dana, and she is a traveled woman. She's sort of come from Middle East. She lived in the US, now in Europe. She's got a story of resilience to share with you, and I'm just going to say this is something you don't want to miss out. It is really a story of courage and adaptability. My God, that was a hard word.
Yeah.
But anyway, just tune in. Here we are, and welcome, Dana. That's how I pronounce it, isn't it? Dana.
Dana, but not Dana.
Not Dana, Dana.
So nice to meet you. I'm really glad to be here. Our preparatory conversations were really helpful in kind of setting the tone of the conversation. So happy to dive in. I'm not sure where we usually start in these conversations.
No.
But first of all, I'm glad to be on the podcast because this idea of resilient women really resonated with me.
Yeah.
I happen to be at a crossroads professionally right now, and I was offered the chance to come on this podcast, and I said, you know what, this is going to be part of my healing journey and, you know, my development for whatever my next professional move is going to be. And it's good to we spoke about recounting and kind of recalibrating and looking back, how am I going to face this next challenge?
Yeah.
And looking back at everything that you've, kind of gone through in your life and how you've faced challenges before and what's your tool. I want to talk about the toolkit for resiliency.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's really what we're talking about. Because I asked you, or we talked about that, what is resilience for you? And I know that we talked about this, obviously, for those of you who have listened and seen this, watched this podcast before, know that we obviously address resilience and what is resilience. And I think that you gave this really a good definition. It's not like, we will fall down, we will struggle, but it's how we get up and use what we've gone through and just use it to become stronger. You said it in a different way, but that was the...
No, but I get that. Yeah, that's kind of my MO, as they say. Where should we start?
I think we'll just start with, because, at the moment, for those who know, when we're in the studio in the same studio, and at the moment that's in Portugal. So now we're actually, Dana, you are in Portugal, but I know that you came recently to Portugal from the US, but before that, because you're from the Middle East, you're from Israel.
That's correct.
Yeah. So maybe just start a bit about sort of your journey and briefly who you are and what you bring with you into the journey of resilience, if we put it this way.
Yeah, so I think one of the things we chatted about coming into this was built-in resiliency.
Yeah.
So being Israeli and Jewish, putting aside any current politics, we said we're going to put that aside.
Yeah.
We have, considering our history, we have a built-in resiliency. This is how we operate. This is how we thrive in this world. We're only 0.2% of the world's population, 0.02%, like 15 million people. That's it.
Yeah.
So you really need to be resilient. And, historically, we've been knocked down many times and, we're still around. So I guess it's something that's kind of that grit and being able to overcome challenges, using humor. That's very important.
Yeah.
So that's something that I would say is very typical. And also this concept of, look, whatever happens, it's going to be okay. It'll be okay. That is a typical Israeli/Jewish expression.
Yeah.
You can complain and everything, but at the end, it'll be okay. So that's kind of one of the things that it's like a coping mechanism, humor, self-assurance that things will work out as they should. And this small little voice inside, you need to let it speak while you may have, challenges that you face. So I think, growing up in the Middle East, where you don't know where the next, explosion might come from, or political unrest. It's interesting, and I think spending time in Europe as a child and the U.S., you get a lot of different experiences. But this idea that, look, we really know that life is short, so you have to live today, right now. And yes, you can worry about the future, but we don't know. So
we don't know. No one knows.
No one knows.
It doesn't
And-
matter if you live in Middle East
Yes,
or
anywhere.
wherever.
This
I mean,
applies
anywhere.
anywhere.
We just don't know.
Exactly. And I think one of the things that also I would thank my mother for was she said basically her outlook in life is, if it's something that I can't control and I don't know if it may or may not happen, there's no point in worrying about it. Yeah. Like, what can you do? There's nothing to do. So the worry just takes away from doing other things. And if it's something in the past that happened that I can't change, again, why worry? This is not helpful.
Yeah.
So you may have feelings around challenges or problems or obstacles that you face. It's okay to have the feelings, but they're temporary. Yeah. Feelings can come and go, and especially worry. To me, worry is a useless feeling because it doesn't really. You have it, but you can't wallow in it too much.
No, because it brings something else. Because obviously, that will accentuate the feelings you have, and you of maybe helplessness or worry and of something
fear,
that may not ever happen.
Exactly.
So I think that definitely worry is just not a good.
So kind of thinking of resiliency, building up that resiliency is understanding you have the feelings, they're legitimate, it's fine, and you give yourself a day to a week, whatever you're facing. Yeah. But staying with them will most likely debilitate you in moving forward. And there really is no point. It is a waste of time and energy. Yeah. And at the end, you continue to suffer. So it's how do you get out of whatever cycle you're in? Yeah.
That's a great point. But then just put us in a context here, because you lived in, how long did you live in Israel, and when did you move to, because as I understand.
I've been moving around a little bit, yeah.
You're moving around, but you spent in the US the longest time?
I'd say it's split. So I was born in Israel, and when we were 4, we moved to Germany, actually. So I spent, this is West Germany, so this is pre-unification, which was interesting. Yeah. Then from there to the U.S., and the U.S. is like my second home because my mother is American, so all of her family is there.
Okay.
And then after a few years there, we moved back. So until I was about from 11 to 25 in Israel, so the rest of my schooling, military, undergraduate, a bachelor's degree there. Yeah. And then I moved to the U.S., so was there for about 16 years, where I built my family and met my wife, and we have 2 children, 2 daughters. They're beautiful and lovely. And things got a bit tumultuous for me, and also I scored a remote job, which was amazing, and gave me the opportunity to move here to Portugal, so I could work anywhere. Yeah. So kind of been in all these spaces, also experienced quite a challenging time these past 2 years, living outside of Israel. Our family's there. There's a war. Again, we all want it to be over, whatever that looks like. Yeah. It's very difficult. So that's kind of the background and how I ended up here in Portugal. But what we discussed that we'd focus on are some of the things that happened to me personally in the last couple of years. So aside from the worry of dealing with worry about my family and fear that something may happen and they are in imminent danger. This is a real thing, okay? It's not imagined fear, yes? No. It's not like what will happen? No, things are happening. So it's kind of working through that while still having to function through life. And I'm not even there. I can imagine like people are working with PTSD and they're just like functioning and going to work or not work. It's crazy. And then whilst, leading up to that, before the events of the last 2 years, I personally, and I want to discuss this, had a bit of not a health scare, but I discovered late in life that I had, that I carry the BRCA mutation. And this, for those of the people listening in are not aware, this means you're high risk for breast cancer or ovarian cancer. It's very prevalent amongst Ashkenazi Jews as opposed to the rest of the population. And it is hereditary. So discovered I had this, and I think it was a very difficult time because you're living your life thinking everything's fine, and now suddenly you have this knowledge that, okay, I'm at risk. What does this mean? Am I, am I going to die? Like what? So then you start, it's a bit of a shock, but I think what helps a lot of us and many people do is you go into action immediately. Okay, I have this. Book all the appointments. What are the screenings you need? You start with the consultations, learning about it. What is this change in my life? What kind of preventative measures can I take? And it's a lot of decisions that you need to make. But knowledge is power. So the more I learned and the more information I had, I felt more confident about the road forward. So I think that's the first thing that I would say.
So you felt empowered, because that's one thing that I just spoke the other day to a woman that a guest here that you will hear in the next episode. I think that would be actually after this one. She actually got the developed breast cancer. So, and she never had any. I mean, she through the screenings of obviously. So that's how it appeared. But for her, it was like a shock, and it was so from getting the result. I mean, the information till actually removing the tissue and everything. But for you then, so I just wonder how.
So it's a weird feeling because you're not sick.
Yeah.
But now like you could be sick. So then here comes that thought. And these are conversations I had with my mother as well. It hasn't happened. Nothing's happened right now. Yeah. So why worry?
Yeah.
Take the actions that you need.
Yeah.
And don't worry about it, because the worry, many times, the worry manifests negative things.
Yeah.
You need to manifest positive things. So the more control you feel of your destiny. I can't control the fact that I have this, but I can get my screenings. I can do some preventative surgeries, which I did. And we can get into that. But, I mean, these are things that you think through. And so, and this journey is very personal, especially somebody who's at risk. Like, what are the actions that I'm going to take? It's not one size fits all. So it's, you have to think what's best for you.
Yeah. But you felt that this helped you. You felt empowered by knowing. So then you can take action and actually do everything in your power to prevent this from happening.
Exactly.
That you develop
cancer. And that kind of leads us into, so while this was happening, I had just taken a new job, this remote position, and like I had a lot of pressure because it was a big jump in terms of my role.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to manage the new role. I have people reporting to me, and I'm trying to navigate something new. And then suddenly this news hits, and it's just a lot going on. It's not that it hit. I'm sorry, my timeline's a little messed up. I wanted to leave my current job, and I was in the process of getting to a new place.
Okay.
And I was already thinking about leaving. And I think that what happened was, I'm a little brain fog, and we'll get to why I have a little bit of brain fog. But I got to this space and said, okay, I have this thing. I'm not happy with one situation. Okay, it kind of also was a catalyst for me to move on to another role and to leave the organization I was with for 10 years. So it was funny. So, and then I'm still obviously navigating all of this stuff, but then also taking a new job. So it was like a lot of big things happening at the same time, which was interesting. But it did afford me to do other things and gave me all kinds of freedoms. And it was just like, okay, well, there's no point in spending time somewhere you're unhappy. And I think getting that news about this mutation and all these changes that I was making was like, all right, let's just make one more change. What does it matter? But it's also kind of going through it at the same time. So I definitely would say that built some resiliency within me.
It must have. And
and if we go into the health, specifically the health aspect, and if we're looking at women, so generally, obviously, we're all getting, hopefully at age 40, you're starting to track, everybody should, getting whatever scans you need, whether it's an ultrasound or an MRI, whatever you choose to do with your doctor, but to track your, to get your breast scans. And so as we start being aware of our age and our health and our, it's important to just remember it's just part of life.
Yeah.
Taking care of your health is part of life. Health is life. So it's not something to worry about. It's just something to maintain. And I made the decision to do one of the two options of preventative surgeries was, and I had my ovaries and tubes removed. We were done having kids. I was actually still nursing at the time when I found all of this, so I was still a little bit hormonal post birth and everything. About a year and change in, but I decided to have the surgery as specifically the risk was ovarian cancer. They call it a silent killer. You don't know if you have it. It's usually too late once you find out. So that's why this was more important as opposed to breast cancer, which you can screen for early and life expectancy is the same whether you have preventative surgery or not. So I went for it all in. And it's strange because then that throws you into this, what they call surgical menopause at 40, which is crazy. And, menopause is difficult, even if it's gradual or perimenopause. I know you got your fan.
I got my fan.
You got your fan. And if you go through it naturally, yes, but it's like falling off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like you are immediately completely off. I was angry. I couldn't control what was going on. The hot flashes, like in a day, like not gradual. So it's very strange. And one of the things also that I would recommend to anybody going through this change, whether you're surgically in menopause or you're just experiencing it, is get help. See a hormone replacement therapist. Get HRT. Seek advice from not just anybody, people who specialize in this, because there's different opinions, and the medical community is starting to get back into this, but there were many years where they were not supporting hormone replacement therapy, and I think this is super important, and it's something to look at. It's not just about a blood test, your hormones look fine. You may have symptoms early that you are not aware of or understand. Brain fog, and
that quite often
things.
is wrongly diagnosed as
depression,
depression, anxiety, because I have a couple of girlfriends that had that. They were actually prescribed antidepressants, and it was not at all what the problem was.
Yeah, because they may not be clinically depressed. It's just suddenly they start feeling off, right? Yeah. And even if they're not, sometimes it is appropriate, but before you jump down that path, definitely go see a menopause specialist and go into the community that supports people going through this phase of life, because it could be nutrition. Things change. Even your exercise needs to change. Your sleep patterns change. And it's slow and it creeps up on you, and you may not realize, but a lot of times it's related. And you may benefit from changing diet, changing your workouts, changing your lifestyle. And sometimes you go on medication. Medication is not something to be afraid of if it's managed properly. And if you take it, sometimes you avoid going down the route of taking SSRIs. What do they call it?
SSRI. For
antidepressants, anti-anxiety. So, I think, and it took a few months, but I had my family was very patient with me. But it's like you cannot control it. So, and then you start with dosages and you play around with it till you get kind of to an equal space. So I think it's very important to realize, okay, nothing's a death sentence. If you have knowledge, it made me feel very empowered that I can control what happens to me. But it's still there. It's in the back of your mind. Every time I go, every 6 months, I have to get some sort of scan. I'm a little nervous, but it's a feeling. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a feeling. We all have feelings, and they come and they go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, another thing. So I think kind of the resiliency for me is built from a few things. One is, there's medical intervention to help. Whether it's therapy, which I've gone to back and forth. I'm not prescribed to it for life, but I think there are periods of time when just talking through some of your issues is helpful. Yeah. No need to, I don't think serial therapy is necessarily good or wallowing in those things, but just periodic to kind of just realign yourself, leaning on friends. Your community is so very important. Before I had my surgery, I decided to have a farewell party for my ovaries. And a bunch of us women, my good friends, we went out for a night had drinks, and just kind of said cheers and goodbye.
That's
but
beautiful.
It's like celebrated, right?
Yeah.
So I really tried to create these things, positive experiences around this, because I knew it was going to be hard. Didn't make it any easier, like physically, but I think like it helped things pass quicker and more easily. And then, if things weren't quite, right, and at some point, I was struggling with some other things with work and anxieties, and I think it had to do a lot with the war in Israel, and it was extreme. Even if I don't say it or I don't talk about it in the back of your mind,
it's there.
This is a true fear, and I think that, and as someone is, people that died, you're facing the stress. There's a lot of protests around you. Suddenly, you're demonized for who you are. There's a lot going on, and without even saying what my opinion is, it is a stressful time and situation, and I think Corona that did that to a lot of people anyway. You were home, you were stuck, people were crazy. New York was crime-ridden. A lot of political unrest in the U.S. as well when we were there, and which is why I love Portugal. It's my it's a sanctuary for me, and really a safe, calm place.
Yeah.
Which is not by chance that we're here. I mean, it was a decision. I lost track of this thought here. But in any case, we talked about this. You have a toolkit, right?
Yeah.
I keep the things that my mom has taught me about worry and not to worry. Things will work out.
Yeah.
And I kind of lean into that. I lean into my experience, knowing that eventually things will find their place. And if I am at a high stress period, it is okay to seek medical help, whether it's mental health, physical health, because sometimes the physical health is impacting the mental health and vice versa.
Yeah. It's. I mean, we're one system, aren't we?
Yeah.
And sometimes it might be just enough to just take that time out and for yourself and just really be with your, like, self-soothe and just be with that and be with people that you're.
Yeah.
Your loved ones and just use that as your
but I would say community, your family and community are very important, and I'm very community oriented, and if without that it would be very lonely to me.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast as well, because not everyone has that community. So that's for you who are listening or watching this, is that really this is a community where we want you to feel like you have a community and someone to listen to and that understands what you're going through.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, and I think with the digital age, people are feeling more and more disconnected.
Yeah.
So creating a space like this and situations where people can share their stories, I think, is super important. There's so much, negative vitriol online and all this. So this is a really great opportunity to share and inspire others.
Yeah, and I think and thank you for doing that, because I think it is so important. And I think in one way, I mean, the digital era that we live in is isolated. It's like you can feel isolated, but at the same time, it opens up for meetings and communities. So I think it really depends on what you do with it and also what you're looking for. I mean, you can also decide that you're only going to focus on the positive social media, if you're in social media, like the positive, and just remove everything else and just sort of invite.
Hopefully the algorithm learns that.
Yeah, it does, because I'm looking at my Instagram, if we're talking about that, I seldom get anything bad. I just have positive news, and because I've trained the algorithm what I like.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm trying to ignore things out there, but you need a little positivity, and people are struggling through a lot of different things. So
and really also I think it is this that we don't really need to know everything, because we actually,
you don't have control over it. Why am I going to worry about something? I have zero control.
Because that is a part of stress and mental challenges. Because
I think if you focus more in your own community, if everybody would focus in their own community and helping the people around them, they would feel better.
Yeah,
and in person, yes, you could do online, you could fundraise it, that's fine. But it's almost detached.
Yeah.
Do it where you live. So, I see people with all these global causes and it's very important for them. And that's fine. And I appreciate that. But believe me, it is almost performative.
Yeah.
Help a person, help a neighbor.
Yeah.
Help the kid down the street that can't afford the school supplies that they need. Help a family. Like, there's somebody who has a farm. They need a help to, I don't know. I'm talking about this because we live here in kind of rural, more rural Portugal, and people need help. There's no reason why not. Even I'm Jewish, but nothing preventing me from going to a church and say, hey, is there anything here in the local community that you need help with? I have these skills. I'm willing to, I don't know, whatever it may be. So these are the types of things I think that would benefit people a lot more than looking at these global causes. It's a lot. And it's almost detached.
Yeah, detached and a bit overwhelming as well, because then you end up in like, I cannot do anything with this, or maybe I can, but it's just, I don't really see the results of what I'm doing, because you don't really see that in that way, as if you do something with your neighbor or a farm nearby, or maybe just smile at a stranger.
Yeah, that's true.
Because a smile can really be
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
I think there was another thing we talked about that I found really helpful, and we talked about the concept of unreasonable requests.
Yeah.
So that's something I shared with you. I went through a program called the Landmark Forum. Now it's I'm not here to advertise them, but it is a kind of this like self-help, but within a large group.
They also have
program.
The values of that. Is that a Christian platform?
No, not at all. I mean, just very briefly, if anybody knows Lululemon, have you heard of this brand?
Oh, yeah.
The owner went to this, and the guy who founded Lululemon, and it helped him in his journey to found this massive company.
Oh, yeah.
And he was so impacted that he would offer this course to all of his employees for free. He funded it for them. Anybody who wanted to go, they would have this. It's basically to self-empowerment, but it's through large group and not like just a small, like they have their methods, et cetera, and not like a one-on-one therapy. And the idea is also that being in the group, you hold each other accountable, you create relationships. It creates this sense of, I'm not alone, or somebody else
some
is also.
belonging.
Yes, there's some belonging.
Yeah.
I went through their whole program, and again, they like to market themselves, and they sell it to you, and you want you to bring your friends. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine, but I put that aside. Anybody can take something from this program, and there were several lessons, but the big one for me, and part of resiliency, and I tell this to anybody who's unsure of their next step, or wants to start something, or needs help, but is too shy, or is like, why would anybody help me, is to understand that if you want something, that you should be ready to make unreasonable requests. Now, they're not necessarily unreasonable, but they're unreasonable to you. There's some sort of self-doubt or lack of confidence in asking for something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm starting a business. I'm looking for an investor, right? Can you meet me at, and there's someone that you want to target, or just, I'm looking for investors. I know you have a lot of people that you're connected to. Can you meet with me next week? Maybe, Tuesday or Thursday afternoon, right? But some people want to say, oh, I don't want to approach them, or I'm uncomfortable, or why would they help me? No, what you think is unreasonable may be completely fine with another person. So it's like getting out of your own way and just taking a chance. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
They say no. And in most cases, they will either say, yes, okay, I can help you, I can meet you, I can do whatever it is. Or they might say, I don't do this, but I know somebody that can help you. Let me connect you with them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of something that should be part of your toolkit for resiliency. One, accepting if somebody says no, but knowing that most things that you put out to the universe, something will come from that.
Yeah. And also trust. I think that's trust that when you get a feeling, like you get inspiration to reach out to someone to ask for something, it comes from somewhere. So quite often when that happens to me anyway, and I know this is not just me, but that person's like, oh, that's interesting that you asked me just about that. I was just looking for someone, or I just spoke to
Absolutely.
I just spoke to this lady the other day, and she's looking for someone. So why don't I connect you to? That's how I got my last sort of role that because I'm consulting as well. Because I was just talking to someone and was looking for some hours to do some HR work, and she said, you know what? It's funny that, Jessica, I just met this woman yesterday, and she was looking for someone with your skills.
Yeah, I mean, this is
So
it's anything like,
it happens all the
hey,
time.
let's say I don't know, you have a fundraiser, you're putting together an event, and you want to go. You don't know this person, but you know somebody owns like a shop somewhere, and you want them to donate something. I mean, there's no reason. Hey, are you willing to do this for me? And either they say no, yes, or what. But usually, when you come with this, overcome this self-doubt and say, okay, this feels like an unreasonable thing. Don't finish the conversation with, can you do this for me? If you say no, it's okay, I understand. No, don't never say that if you say no. Then you're already opening it up for a no.
Yeah.
Just ask what you want for, even if it's what you feel is unreasonable, or why would somebody do this?
Yeah.
It costs nothing, and you only have something to gain from it. So if you feel, oh, that's too much, go for it.
Yeah.
You know? And that's also something to build resiliency. And the more you do it, the easier it gets, and you will find yourself overcoming whatever obstacle you have, whatever need you have. You'll get to the next chapter, next level, whatever it is you need.
Yeah, yeah. And I was thinking we talk about courage, because I mean, to be resilient doesn't mean that you're not afraid of making a decision, going through something. You may be super scared, but I think that we talked about that. What you really need is actually the courage to act, despite the fear, despite that sort of.
Yeah, this brings me back to a book, a children's book that I read to my daughter.
Yeah.
It's Franklin Goes to the Hospital. So he's like a turtle, and he got hurt in a soccer game, and he has to go to get checked, and they have an X-ray, and his shell is fractured, and they need to give him an operation. And throughout the book, she keeps saying, "Oh, Franklin's so brave," and he doesn't say anything. He's really scared. And at the end of the book, right before the surgery, where he's meeting the doctor, he's like, "Oh, you need to take an X-ray," but he's like, "But you're gonna see everything inside me. I don't want an X-ray." He's like, "Why do you want an X-ray?" Because people keep saying I'm brave, but I'm really scared, and I don't want people to see it. And he said, "Well, first of all, they will never see it, because this is just the X-ray just does the bones. It doesn't show your feelings. But being brave, being courageous, is being afraid, but still acting and doing what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And that is very courageous and brave, like doing what you need to do, even though you're afraid." And I think that's something to remember. Franklin taught us a good lesson.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that's beautiful, and that's actually that's part of my life philosophy. It's not like it's easy, but sometimes you just do what you have to do because you know it's the right thing to do, even though it's terrifying maybe at the moment. Yeah. But you just know that you have to go through it. So you do what needs to be done, right?
Yeah. And whether it's medical, professional, whatever it may be, and sometimes it's a situation you choose, like, you come to a crossroads and you've decided, this isn't right for me. I need to make a change. It's very scary, even if you're the one who's initiating it, but, or whether someone creates the situation for you. You lost your job, or you fell ill, whatever it is. It's what are you going to do with this information once you have it, And how do you get through those difficult times? You can't make it go away, right? And you can't make the feelings disappear. But if you kind of accept that it's okay to feel them, but don't stay there, right? Yeah. So 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, but then come back to this toolkit, the unreasonable requests. The other thing we talked about, and I took from this landmark forum, these are the two major lessons, is choose your reality. Yeah. Whatever's happening to you, you do not accept it or surrender to it. There's no surrendering. It's, here I am, I'm going to choose that I'm here. whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
You took you were suffering from a toxic boss, left, and you took some other job, anything to get away, right? Whatever it is. And this has happened to me at least once, and others, I'm sure. You take a new job, you're not even focused on the new job. You're just trying to cleanse yourself from the old one.
Yeah,
and then but you may be nervous, like, oh, what am I actually doing here? No, choose where you are. Once you choose, you're not going to worry too much about your past experience. You're going to embrace what's happening now. And sometimes it's a reality where, okay, I've been given this challenge right now, whatever the obstacle is. I have an illness. I have, I don't know, difficulty in my relationship. Okay, I'm going to choose this reality. How am I going to navigate right now?
Yeah.
And I'm going to choose to be in this new job. I'm going to choose to be healthy, and whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
So it's this, it brings power back to you rather than like you succumb to reality. Like you become a player in your reality rather than something that things are like someone that, like things are happening to me. No, you're a player in what happens and how it happens. And you become active and not passive.
Yeah, because that's a part of being the driver, being in the driver's seat of your own life.
That's exactly it.
Being the narrator of your story, right? That you actually, okay, this happens. And I think that for me, where I come from is really, I think that things are happening for us, not to us.
Oh, I like that. For us, not to us.
Yeah, because it happens for a reason. And you don't necessarily need to know what that reason is, but knowing, and I think that really fits well together with what you're saying about choosing, knowing that this is happening and trying to change that or try to resist that. That's just that's just going to make you suffer.
Yeah, I know. Like, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
You know, like, I always get whatever it is, or, you know.
I mean, I guess you can have a moment of that.
A moment, yes. We all have that for a minute, but woe is me. Like, oh, but I agree. And I think if you are active, and it may look like something small, it may look like reaching out to a friend and saying, I need to talk through this.
Yeah.
Not to complain. Yeah, you can do a little bit of venting, but also like, okay, where am I going with this? What do I do with these feelings? You know, just a friend, a therapist, or a professional, someone from your past, or someone who you value. You know, so in your process. And for me, like when it was a health issue, I happened to talk to a therapist at the time. We were doing some unrelated. I was talking, and I said, you know, I just started working with this woman to sort through some issues. And I said, look, this thing happened. I have this mutation now. And she said, oh, that's interesting. I have the mutation. I said, no. And she said, and I went through the surgery. Okay. And I did the other surgery too. And like, it was just this whole like, yeah, okay. That's interesting. And so it was all the more easier to have the conversation because she could understand the context so personally that she guided me through some of these feelings and so on. And it was really helpful.
Yeah.
And serendipitous. But you
see,
I
was just saying that. I think she was there for a reason in your life.
Some things happen really like it's out of your control, but the universe brings you who you need when you need it if you are open.
Yes.
And being open is very, very important.
Yeah, because if you never brought up that topic to her, you would have never known.
Like I wasn't there for that reason, but I said, hey, this is hitting me hard right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to impact a lot of things that we're dealing with that aren't related. And it was interesting.
Yeah.
And the other thing I also think is like when you're facing a challenge, whatever the obstacle is, professional health, there is always a sense of a course correction, I think. Like to me, you weren't on the right path. Something was off, and either you make the choice to leave and you realize it, or sometimes the choice is made for you.
Yeah.
But it just means you're being diverted somewhere else where you are more useful, where you are healthier, whatever it may be. Yeah. Everything leads to the next thing. Yeah. And whenever I've had a dip, especially professionally in my career, the next step has always been a better one.
Yeah.
Meaning I've never found myself like just on the decline. One, because of the toolkit. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
My mother's words always ring in my mind, and the choosing the reality, the unreasonable request, I always find myself in a better position.
Yeah.
And it's kind of these things that you collect with each experience of disappointment or even hurt or betrayal. Like I felt that, but they're just feelings. They're temporary. That's another thing from the Landmark Forum.
Yeah,
There were a few good nuggets.
Yeah.
Another one is, and this I tell everybody, it's better to be smart than to be right.
Yeah.
We spend so much time.
Yeah.
And I do it too. I still do it. But then I tell myself, you know what? It's not worth it. Proving your point ain't going to get you where you want to be.
No, and I it's interesting that you bring that up because I'm definitely of that. It happened to me the other day walking on the street in Lisbon, and I sort of made a mistake. And this car came, and he was just super upset with me that I just walked in his way. And I was like, what? Why waste energy on something that just really is like, just let me through then? But he was just super upset. I was like, it's like he was right. He had the right of way, and I was wrong. It was
and
true.
You knew,
I knew, but I was there, so I couldn't really undo what I'd done. And what difference did it make that he got so upset with me? Yeah. So it's just really interesting how that really plays out, and those little small. You get small situations like that just.
Yeah. Well, you just it's holding on to being right is look. Sometimes I understand we all have this thing where we just dig in our heels, but you're not going to bring the person closer to you, whoever's on the other end of this being right.
On the contrary, it will the gap will just sort of become bigger, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, so that's kind of some of the lessons in, I'd say, the resiliency toolkit, and you build it over time.
Yeah, because that's the thing, and that's where the conclusion I come to over and over again. And for those of you who listen to these episodes, know that as well, that resilience is nothing you can click and purchase somewhere. You cannot. There are no shortcuts to the resilience. You may be born with a certain like resources of resilience. You've been sort of brought up in an environment where you need to have that mindset, and you get that maybe a bit from the DNA. It's sort of part of the culture or your family and your upbringing in a way. Like you said, a lot of the mindset comes from your mother, right? Yeah. But I think this is unfortunately we have to go through this crap. This. Everything.
But mistakes are what build our success.
Yes.
And that's something like, when I have small kids.
Yeah.
And my older daughter really doesn't like to make a mistake. She gets very angry. But you see that with time she's maturing and she's learning to cope with that, because life is, you have to make mistakes. Otherwise you're not living your life.
Yeah.
It can debilitate you. I'm afraid of making the wrong decision.
Yeah.
So this is something that you really have to learn, and your parents like guiding you is very, very important. So if you all have little kids, talk about mistakes and what happens and how to approach them and how, it's frustrating, but you have to keep practicing.
Yeah.
So developing this resiliency and I think that a lot of educators try to do that with the children in their classrooms.
Absolutely.
And hopefully the parents at home can also supplement that. I think it's very important.
Yeah. And for me, really, we don't really make any mistakes unless we learn from what we've just done. Mm-hmm. Because if we keep on doing the same thing over and over again and not learning from it, then that's a mistake over and over again. Yeah. But if we actually get... Yeah. If we sort of say, this happened when I did this. This was not a good thing for me. Next time I will do. It's like course correct, like you said. Yeah. So if you get that with you.
It's best to fail fast.
Yeah.
You fail fast and then you correct.
Yeah.
Don't fail slow.
Yeah. But sometimes you do that. So, some lessons just takes a bit longer for you to
there's several lessons I had to learn more than once, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Especially in relationships, like romantic relationships. You're like, I have this pattern. What's going on with this?
And then you will be given the same situation until you learn, I think. You're sort of, there is something in all of this that we're really building the path of our lives, isn't it? That you said that some people always end up, like always within brackets then, but they end up in situation after situation after situation, and they don't understand that. It's like, okay, but maybe
I'm the common denominator.
Yeah, maybe that's a good realization. It's like, I need to do something here.
Something different.
Yeah.
And I think as parents, it is important that your children see you fail sometimes and make mistakes.
Yeah.
A lot of times we want to protect them from difficulties or challenges or mistakes, or we act in ways that we regret with our children as parents.
Yeah.
It's okay. You course correct and you say, I'm sorry, I made this mistake. I'm going to learn and do better.
Yeah.
But then really obviously do it. Don't just repeat the same mistake. I mean, and even if you do, you correct it. There's something about doing course correction with your kids and having those moments where, hey, you know what? I'm your parent. I'm not perfect, trying my best, but I made this mistake.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they think, they can't think you're too perfect.
No, then you create difficulties for yourself and for your children. I don't think that's a good thing at all. And sometimes I think it is to lose control as a parent. I mean, like really sort of break down, cry, whatever in front of the children. I think that's not a bad thing, because that's also part of being a human being and a part of being a parent. It's not always easy, and a part of life is not always easy. Yeah. So just because we sit here and talk about it, and we acknowledge it and just sort of say, okay, I've had a really, really difficult day and I'm just so tired. And still, my behavior was not okay, but sometimes I just cannot hold this together, whatever.
Yeah, and you say just like you have, and then don't get mad if they're having a meltdown. Be like, why are you crying? Stop crying. I mean, like, could you stop yourself from yelling when you had a really stressful day at the kids? Like sometimes it happens to all of us, and they're learning, so they're learning from us. Yeah. So it's not only if you're a parent, you want to develop that or work on your resilience. As it's a project, it's a lifelong path, and demonstrate that to your kids because they need to learn as well. And the more they see you kind of navigating things, working through issues that you may have, again, there are things that are maybe not age appropriate, and you don't share everything to the point where they're like nervous and like, feel unsafe. But it's okay to let them in a little bit to what's going on in family and priorities and challenges that you may face. Okay, did I tell my kids that I'm at risk for dying now? No, but I said, hey, it's got to be at their level. But I shared, like, I'm going to have this surgery. It's preventative, so that talking to them about it calmed me down. And say, hey, I'm doing this preventative surgery. I have this mutation. Most people have probably one or two mutations. In order to prevent anything bad from happening, I'm having this surgery. I'm going to need your support because I'm not going to feel well for a few weeks. And that, I mean, or I may act a little bit cuckoo, and that's okay. It's going to even out. Like, don't worry. It's just temporary, and I think that you prepare them. You talk to them about things. Don't hide if you're struggling. You can share it to a certain degree to be like, hey, I may be a little bit off now. I'm facing some challenges, but it's going to be okay. Please be patient with me, and we'll work together kind of thing. So I think that's also something with your own leaning into your family to build up that resilience and show it is also really, really important.
Yeah.
And whether family, it's your children, your siblings, it doesn't matter. If you're not a parent, that's okay. You have other people, or your chosen family, whatever that looks like. Yeah, because I was going to say that
if you have the chosen family, your friends or whatever you have, you can sort of lean into that and show them that and share that with them, so they also know and what you're going through. Yep. Which also means that you're creating like a different bond between you as well.
Showing vulnerability is never a bad thing.
No. And that's just really about vulnerability. That it's a weakness, and it's the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's such a strength to have the courage to show vulnerability and just really show that and say, yeah, now it's tough. And but also share then that, but I trust this process. I trust that
it's like it'll be the additional, but it's going to work out as it should, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, because we don't know that now. Yeah. Because now, today, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like just instilling, it's a confidence, not in something specific. It's just giving your children or your friends or your family confidence in life, right? Just a general confidence. And it puts the worry at bay, you know? Even though and it helps you feel okay about the uncertainty.
Yeah.
I think that is kind of what resilience is. There's uncertainty and you're feeling okay about it.
Yeah, and also I think it's also the knowingness somehow that you know that this shall pass too. I will stand up, I will move on, I will go through this. It will be okay. I really like that with just it's like, whatever happens, it will be okay.
Yeah. And I mean, look, I can't say that this is, I'm very fortunate to have a stable home, loving parents, done well for myself and my career. But again, even it's even fortunate people face difficult times. Huh? So
absolutely,
it's just kind of how do you walk through that. And I don't try to underestimate anybody's problems. Yes, it's also good to get some proportion and be like, look, I mean, what is the worst thing? Most things are not life and death.
Yeah.
And when they are, then you handle them appropriately. But it's knowing the difference.
Yeah.
Like you are not dying. You had a bad day. Don't milk it, for 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
Somebody said something unkind. Okay.
Yeah.
It felt bad. Move on.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean ignore it, but just it's okay. Sit with that feeling and then try something else on for a better fit.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like.
Yeah, whatever that looks like.
And I think it's important to just realize that. I mean, one, it can be worse. Two, like people who are stressed at work. And as someone, and I always tell like customers of mine or people I work with that haven't grown up where I have.
Yeah.
You're a software developer. No one is going to die if this is one day late.
Yeah.
You are not in brain surgery right now.
Yeah.
It's work. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I know there's pressures, but in reality, like
you don't work
please.
at the emergency.
I'm really like, please, I know you're stressed, but there's no reason to be to lash out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just it helps me also kind of manage my own stress at work and be like, okay, come on. I've been in the military. This is fine.
Yeah.
You're just at work.
That's really good to gain some perspective as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dana. This has been such a inspiring, beautiful conversation.
Thank you so much for the time. And I think just summary words.
Yeah.
Choose where you are. Everything will be okay. Have your unreasonable requests.
Yeah.
And do not worry too much. Let that feeling sit with you, but only for a short period. Because if it's something in the future that you don't know has happened yet, don't worry. Yeah. And if it's something in the past that you can't change, don't worry. What's the use?
Yeah.
And I think that's my toolkit for everybody.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for that, Dana, and thank you so much for taking the time. And for you that's been listening and tuning into this episode, thank you so much. And I mean, it is, when listening and having this conversation with Dana, it sounds so easy and
it was hard.
But obviously it is difficult, it is hard, but you work through it but I think that you can choose, and I think that's really one of those big nuggets, really choose your you choose your reality. Choose what you focus on, choose to live in the here and now. If you can't change anything, don't worry about it. What has happened has happened. And there are no mistakes unless you learn from them. So that's really what I want to say. So just go out there, keep on building your resilience, facing your life with some. Just go out and shine and just show your light and be just brilliant. And resilient. So thank you. And till next time, take care.
Thank you very much. Take care, everybody.